going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to kind of show you what I was in the middle of today. We recently got quite a bit of rain in the last week, and if you've followed along with the channel, we're in a new house. I've had a little bit of water issues between mine and the neighbor's house. Nothing that's really gotten into the crawl space thus far, but this last week it actually did. I kind of wanted to show you what was going on, what I'm doing to remedy it. I already had plans on taking care of this issue and running some low point drain boxes around the house and trenching in my downspouts and stuff, and I was going to kind of show you guys what I was doing with that, but kind of got my feet put to the fire a little sooner than I wanted, so I'm kind of getting into starting to dig in some of the trench stuff, but show you what I had to do in the crawl space to take care of the water that had built up. I had to kind of just makeshift a small sump well, add in a small sump pump in the crawl space, and what I'm kind of having to go around and do. I also have a dehumidifier in there, and the condensation pump had went out on it when we had the cold weather. I think the weep line froze, so I was showing you what I was doing to kind of get things back in order and what I was dealing with, and then I'll have an updated video once I get the all the downspouts ran. So I'll show you what happened. Basically, this crawl space vent, this low area between mine and my neighbor's house here's where I've been starting to dig in some of my low point boxes, but this low area actually just, I'm one of the lower lots at this point in the neighborhood, so it fills with water kind of in between this area. And so what I'm going to have to do is, of course, I still don't have downspouts and gutters yet from the trim guys on my garage, which isn't helping my case. So I'm going to have to, they're calling for another spell of weather, so I'm going to have to get some corrugated and run that out to at least try to mitigate as much water as I can in this area. But basically what happened to me the other day, this low area holds water. It got high enough to a point I was worried about it getting water into the garages until I could get some drainage ran, and I'm guessing it's been an issue for a while. That part there is our new garage, but the water got so high that it actually overwhelmed this crawl space well. You can probably see the dirt line on it about right here, where water was in that well, and it was going into the crawl space, and it ran its way around my footer. So I'll take you around that side of the house and kind of show you outside of the crawl space where I ran the sump pump line. These are the distribution boxes that I'm going to put in the ground, run schedule 20 sewer line, and run all my downspouts into once I get to that point. But I'll show you the other side of the house, and then I'll go into the crawl, show you what I'm having to do to our so this is actually on the other side of the house, and this is where the sump pump line is discharging. I had to drill through the band, run it out, and so I'll take care of it as far as putting it in permanently later. I had to get, of course the air unit kicks on for background noise. I had to get another condensation pump for the dehumidifier, which I'll show you in the crawl space in just a minute, as well as a new filter for the dehumidifier. So we'll get in the crawl space. I'll kind of show you what I had to deal with the other night. But I did have water make its way. The house kind of has more of an L shape this way. This is on the far side of the house, away from where the water came in, and I did get it all the way over to this access hole. And so I wound up having to put in a small sump pump to try to get the water out from under the house. Basically wound up doing was using a 5-gallon bucket to dig in a small sump well as kind of a low point. Still got to get this mud out of here, bucket it out. I was kind of trying to let things dry out a little bit, but I had water, you know, make its way in on top of the plastic. I have a light this way so you can see a little bit better. But I guess I'm going to go around and try to dry up these areas where water got on top of the plastic. If you're new to a house or you have a crawl space, you know, you don't want this exposed dirt and then the air in between to basically start to create enough moisture that you get mold transfer up to the joist. So if you're wondering why I'm down here doing this, it's not that the water's really got to or necessarily hurt anything, but you don't want water standing underneath of your house, especially when you have a crawl space, because it will create mold growth. But that's basically what I did, was just made a small bucket well and then, you know, ran the hose up, and like I said, out the band. I still have to silicone in the pipe, but hopefully it never needs to kick on again. I plan on having this issue remedied once I get these downspouts ran away from it. I would say just the extent that they've gone to in this crawl as far as all the plastic, and there is the dehumidifier. That's the first crawl space I've been in that's had one. The crawl's in good shape, really, other than I would say this has happened before, and they probably had to have somebody come out and put some plastic down and other stuff, but I want to make sure that this doesn't happen anymore. I've also got to get down here and staple up a lot of the insulation bats that have fallen. So, you know, these are just things that if you own a home with a crawl space, you probably ought to be thinking about. If you have a dehumidifier, I'm going to show you a couple things on it as well. All right, everybody, so if you you have one of these dehumidifiers, this is my first house as far as with a crawl space. I'm in them at work all the time, but if you have a crawl space and you have something like this, or you get interested in possibly putting a dehumidifier like this in, I believe these are custom made for crawl spaces, but I didn't know. But when I was inspecting it, because this is the condensation box, so the moisture that the dehumidifier pulls out of the air goes into this box, and then I have this hose here which goes over and out the side of the foundation. So where it surfaces, I would imagine during the cold weather the end of the pipe froze. It caused the pump inside of this box to burn up. Another thing you might just keep in mind, if you have one of these in your crawl space, you might double check and make sure that your pump's running, because you don't want to leave this dehumidifier running, or it's just going to create more water in your crawl space. So I'm going to get this pump changed, and then I can kind of show you what the new box looks like once I get it put on. It's this one over here I got from Home Depot. I believe it was about $80. So just a couple things you might think about. Like I said, these have furnace or a small filter in them, so something to think about is just maintenance if you get one of these or you have one. Oh, that's the new pump. I got to make either a couple of brackets or put some kind of a strap around it because it's a little bit taller than the old one. I got the filter back in it, and you know, just a couple of things to think about. I kind of wanted to show you what I was in the middle of and messing with, but some things to look out for if you've got a crawl space. If anybody's interested in one of these, like I said, this is the first one I've seen in a crawl space. If I can find it online, I'll drop you guys a link in the description down below. But they do a good job. This is the first time I've really, like I said, messed with one, but having it on this house, I wanted to make sure it was operating correctly. But my wife and I could hear the old condensation pump running, because like I said, I think it got blocked up with ice where it discharges from the house. So something to think about if you've got one in a crawl space and it's penetrating above ground level and the temperatures are freezing. So we appreciate you hanging out with us. Like I said, once I get a little bit further along on the downspouts and stuff like that and trenching everything in, I'll probably shoot some video of that. I've got a couple other things coming up as well. So we appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you on the next video. Take care and have a good day.